Genshin Impact's lore is full of holes. We get pieces of the puzzle here and there, but never the full picture, so there's lots of mysteries and unanswered questions to speculate about. And one of the most fascinating, and I dare say most important mysteries, is the god of time, Istaroth. I have a lot to say about her, but for this video I'll only talk about what is confirmed or implied by the game, or feasible assumptions. This is a general recap, so anyone can keep up even if you've never heard about her before. So without further ado, let's get started. First, her names, titles, and epithets. I'll mainly refer to her as Istaroth, which is her true name. Like the names of other Genshin gods, it's inspired by a demon of the Ars Goetia, in her case, Astaroth. Other names attributed to her are Kairos, like the Greek word, and Tokoyo-Kami, which I think can also be a title. And other epithets include the god, master or ruler of time, the god of moments, the ruler of the unchanging world, the undying wind, the thousand winds or the thousand winds of time, and potentially the Ad Oblivione. It's a lot, but so is her reach across the world. So now I'll give you her history as best we can piece it together currently. It goes all the way back to basically the creation of the world of Teyvat as we know it. According to the book Before Sun and Moon, the world was previously ruled by dragons until the arrival of a being called the Primordial One. To fight the dragons, it created 4 shades of itself, and Istaroth is implied to be one of them. After 40 years, they defeated the dragons and began the process of recreating the world. Eventually, they created humanity, which lived as a unified civilization. Sometime later, the Primordial One went to war against another powerful being known as the Second Who Came. During this war, Enkanomiya, originally part of the unified civilization, fell into the depths where it is today. The Primordial One and 3 of its shades could not hear Enkanomiya's prayers or lamentations, but Istaroth did. So she continued to answer, and they worshipped her. Not daring to speak her true name, they called her Kairos instead, and eventually also Tokoyo-Kami. She even had scribes who recorded the world's history in her name. One such scribe wrote Before Sun and Moon. Also, according to legend, it was Istaroth who gave Aberaku the wisdom to build the Dainichi Mikoshi. However, Enkanomiya's worship of Istaroth eventually stopped for reasons unknown. It's probably due, at least in part, to Celestia's ban on the knowledge contained in Before Sun and Moon. When Orobashi became Enkanomiya's new god, it also contributed to Istaroth's erasure, likely to protect its people from that ban. Nowadays, no one in Watatsumi Island remembers that their ancestors once worshipped a god of time. It's unclear where on the timeline fall the events of Before Sun and Moon, but Orobashi must have found Enkanomiya and brought its people back to the surface during the times of the Archon War. So, chronologically, Istaroth's next known appearance is in Mondstadt, sometime after the Anemo Archon's ascension 2,600 years ago. According to the lore of the sacrificial weapons, the early people of Mondstadt, including the Gunhildr, Lawrence, and Imon Lauker clans, worshipped the Masters of Time and Anemo together. To this end, they held ceremonial plays in the Thousand Winds Temple, reenacting past events such as Mondstadt's revolution. Interestingly, the sacrificial fragments aren't attributed to a named person or family, and were supposedly cursed by Istaroth and left to erode over time. If there's a reason for this, it's still unknown. Also, Mondstadt fairy tales suggest that she may have something to do with Dragonspine, but there's unfortunately no details. Just like Enkanomiya, Mondstadt also forgot Istaroth. A possible cause is the historical erasure that occurred a millennium ago when Mondstadt's aristocracy became corrupt, but it's very unclear. And nowadays, the Thousand Winds Temple is believed to have always been for the wind and not time. That said, there are a few researchers investigating the temple and the connection between time and wind. After Mondstadt, Istaroth's next and currently most recent role was in Inazuma, 500 years ago. Although I'm discussing lore and not the main story, I'll give a minor spoiler warning for Act 2 of Raiden Shogun's story quest where this lore comes from. So, during the Cataclysm, abyssal monsters swarmed Inazuma, but fortunately, the Sacred Sakura's power protected the nation. However, the Electro Archon noticed that the Sacred Sakura had appeared out of the blue one day, even though everyone else remembered it as if it had always been there. In truth, the Sacred Sakura had actually not been planted yet. It was Istaroth's power that carried a seed from the future back to the Cataclysm as a full-grown tree. It's unclear if the other people involved in the planting of the Sacred Sakura knew about Istaroth's influence, though it seems likely. Thanks to Istaroth's help, the Sacred Sakura bloomed right on time to protect Inazuma. In the present day, apart from the incident with the Sacred Sakura that sort of occurred beyond time, we have no signs of Istaroth still being around. Her legacy is preserved mainly in Mondstadt with the phrase "seeds of stories brought by the wind and cultivated by time," or variations of it. This saying is notably included in the Anemo Statues of the Seven descriptions. Mentions of the Thousand Winds or Winds of Time are not too uncommon, but it's hard to say what is a reference to Iztaroth and what's just Mondstadt belief or an allusion to time in general. Maybe they are all connected to Iztaroth and we just don't have the context to figure out how. So that's all we know so far about who Iztaroth is and what she has done in Teyvat's history. Themes associated with her are oblivion, with things forgotten over time, even Iztaroth herself, and fate, as her Gyros aspect hints at the opportune moment or the right time for something to happen. I don't think it's a coincidence that these themes are prevalent in Genshin's main story, especially after the most recent chapters. That's why I believe Iztaroth is probably more important than we realize yet. But as for what else she has done or will do, well, we'll know in due time. That's all I wanted to say, so thank you for listening.